It's important to understand why. Everybody's in favor of helping innocent civilians who are caught in the crossfire of any conflict. I think it's important to understand the reason why aid can't get to them. Hamas has built this system of tunnels. It's expensive. I mean, I don't care if they got a great deal on the concrete. It's expensive to build this extensive system of tunnels. Millions of dollars. That's money that could have gone to create an economy, to feed people, to build hospitals and serve civilians. They didn't do it. And there's real concern, and I think very legitimate reason to believe that any aid that goes in there will be grabbed by Hamas, used for their purposes, at the expense of the civilian population. Hamas has a track record of zero when it comes to caring about the lives of civilians or of society in general. How does Hamas get food? Hamas does not have an economy. Everything Hamas gets comes from abroad, from Iranians, and from what they take. I think that the evidence is in place that they have existed as an organization without any means of generating revenue other than what they are able to capture.
It's China.
If we would have done a bill that would have voted for the money to Taiwan and the Indo-Pacific and money to Israel, I would have voted for that. But they want Ukraine in exchange for the border, and the same way they're holding Israel funding hostage. They won't do Israel funding without Ukraine. And I support helping Ukraine. But I believe that our national security begins in our own country, at our border, where today you have thousands of people a day walking into the country, many of whom we do not know who they are. That has to be a priority. Let's put up a bill that votes on Taiwan.
You're saying it has to be a standalone?
No, it doesn't have to be. I mean, if the president tonight at the State of the Union, I know we're taping this, and he announces that he's going to put back in place the policies that allowed us to detain single adults until their removal proceedings were done, I'll vote for that. I'll vote for that.
It requires a lot of funding. You know that.
It doesn't require a lot of funding. That's the existing law of the country for that. But it starts with the executive order, which is what applies our laws, which he refuses to do because it would require him to admit that Trump was right about the border.
The border's a mess.
The president says the border's not secure.
But let's go back.
We have 7.2 million people in this country that have entered over the last 3 years. Some of them, we don't really know who they are. New York just deployed National Guard troops to the street because of a migrant crime wave. I mean, we have a serious problem here at home. And so I think that we have to go to Americans and say, okay, first and foremost, our priority is going to be to deal with our issues here. And all I'm asking is that be made a priority equal to, we have a migrant wave that began in mid-January of 2021 because people calculated that if they got here, they were going to be able to stay. And 85 to 90% of them were right.
Right.
And it's drawing more people to come here. It's unsustainable.
I think most Americans, and in fact, polling backs this up, believe that there is an issue that needs to be dealt with in the border. But
people that are linking Israel aid to Ukraine, because they won't vote for a standalone Israel bill. They won't unless we do Ukraine. And I'm saying I won't do Ukraine unless we secure America's border. That said, I will tell you that despite what people may say is rhetoric, because I acknowledge that Donald Trump does not talk like a member of the Council of Foreign Relations on these issues. He actually increased troop levels in Poland, and I saw them. I was there when that happened.
He was trying to draw down from Germany and rotate into Poland. President Biden reversed that.
And so the point being is that I don't believe Donald Trump will remove us from NATO. I do think he is going to do, admittedly in an unorthodox way, what virtually every American president has done since the onset of NATO, and that is demand that some NATO countries do more. Danger in TikTok is not that somebody goes on that video and puts something up that looks stupid or silly. The reason why TikTok is so attractive, its value is it has an algorithm, a recommender engine, which is one of the best in the world. That is owned by ByteDance. Under Chinese law, ByteDance must own it. And the only way that recommender engine works is if they have access to the data. So it doesn't matter who you sell TikTok to, where they're headquartered, it doesn't even matter where they store the data. As long as ByteDance engineers in China have access to that data, control the algorithm, they have to have access to American data to make it work. And that's what we need to confront. That's the reality here.
And if you don't think that could be used as the most powerful propaganda tool ever?
It's the area of malign influence, right? What are the issues that already divide Americans? So let's amplify messages that put them at each other's throat, that makes their politics even more conflictive. We already do a pretty good job of it on our own. Help us do that. And that doesn't just deal with elections. We're beyond just election interference with malign influence. It's now an effort to influence our policy debates, to divide us year-round.
Right.
On a regular basis. Russia does it, and they've done it for a long time. The Chinese want to get into this business. The Iranians and others will join them because, and not just here, we've already seen examples of it in other democratic nations. It's a growing risk, and I think one of the first things we have to do is talk about it so people understand what it is we're trying to describe. It's not hacking ballot boxes. It's hacking the minds and our political debate in this country by exacerbating pre-existing tensions to the point of boiling over.
You have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
From the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree.